packed with people absolutely losing their head as soon as they heard just a snippet of this female vocal. It became a signifier, absolutely synonymous with what became a global genre. So how did it all begin? The track emerged in about 2006, 2007 officially on the first Rinse release. So Rinse FM was once a pirate radio station, now is a well-established underground station. Back when they started, they had a record label and this got on to...
Can we just go to the VTs at low level please, because T wants to open the house.
Thank you, Martin and Juan.
Oh, I'm on the wrong channel. Sorry, I was on the wrong channel there.
Wrong channel now.
I'm on 6.
Oh, we were talking to BIMM.
Yeah.
He's a presenter on BBC, he's presented on various grime shows and stations. Even people like Flavor D, who are not even from the grime scene, she's a house producer, somehow have gotten their mitts on these stems and been able to rework and reword this absolutely seminal track. Every time someone reloaded it and reworked it, jumped on it and did their own bars over it, it just gained more and more momentum. So the story of the Rhythm and Gash girl. What do we know about her? Not a huge lot. The stories are pretty fantastical, I have to say. Some people think that it's a chopped up version of a Whitney Houston sample. There's a DJ called DJ Andy Purnell who recently did a live stream and actually reverse engineered the lyrics to I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, taking bits and pieces of it and working it into what was that Rhythm and Gash sample.
You know, nobody knows who sang the vocals on that tune.
It's good. It's a good attempt, but it isn't what it was. A lot of people that I've spoken to are adamant that it's a UK vocal, and I'm inclined to agree. Because of that, it also rules out the other mystery in the other story, which is that it could be a New York trio called Sisters with Voices, who were a 90s group, and some people are of the opinion that it could be a sample from there. The Rhythm and Gash girl, rumour has it her name's Angela. We really don't know much more than that. We don't have a second name. We know that with PRS, you have about a 3-year window in terms of recovering royalties. We're well past that. We've never had any kind of request for backdated PRS royalties. It would be in the hundreds of thousands of pounds if it was. Essentially, we think that she was just someone's partner, a producer's girlfriend or friend who came along. This happened a huge amount. There was so many undocumented vocals. Maybe they weren't native to the music industry. The Rhythm and Gash girl potentially is one of them, but she's something of a meme. If you talk to grime heads, if you talk to people in the industry and ask about stuff that is little known, those things that have got a bit of dust on them that people aren't quite sure about, it is sometimes referred to as an Angela. All we know is there's a person called Angela who voiced potentially the most influential grime track of the scene. So the producer was a guy called Rebound X. Real name Benjamin Daru. The story behind who this guy was, he emerged in the early 2000s, was making tracks for his friends to MC over. Same sort of story as the rest of them. He put out a couple of releases. He was active on forums like RWD, Rewind Forum, which was a grime forum. The archives are still available, and you can see conversations where people are trying to figure out who this guy was, where the track came from. Some people think he's the British Asian producer Naughty Boy, although that's unconfirmed. It's rumoured that his family came into some money. There was an article connected to him about his dad winning 62k on the lottery, and that may be also being a reason why they dipped out. It turns out Rebound X's disappearance potentially stems from an online spat in early grime forum history. A lot of people reference a pretty embarrassing, compromising photograph emerging onto one of these forums, leading to Rebound X, who was going to go on to become one of the most infamous grime producers of the early grime scene, disappearing forever. We don't know what else happened to him. Whether he ever came back, I can't find any other evidence of him releasing anything else since. So moving forward to today, the question is it still a big track? Undoubtedly the answer is yes. You can still go to raves, you can still see boiler room streams with this track absolutely shutting the place down. Whether it's DJ EZ, whether it's grime DJs like Spyro, the Boy Better Know crew, Logan Sama, whoever it is, these guys are still pulling these records. It is still relevant and it is still crucial to the scene. Coming out of the UK, grime still is one of the biggest genres. Noted as a follow-up to punk in terms of anti-establishment, it's definitely something that is referred to as a voice of the people. And because of that, you see it in the charts. Heady One, AJ Tracy and Stormzy are in the top 5 currently at time of recording, and grime music still continues to be at the top tier of music in the world today. So that's the story of the Rhythm and Gash sample. That's what we know so far. The mystery of Angela still lives on.
Punk, viewed by some as the raucous caterwauling of an army of talentless ne'er-do-wells, and by others as an artistic movement that punctured the pomposity of the establishment with a safety pin and then gobbed in its face. Either way, it happened. It had a huge impact, and here's how it was born in the UK. It's the mid-70s, and the UK is a place of industrial action, the 3-day week, and a feeling that the energy of the 60s hasn't quite translated into the floral, free love utopia it promised. In music, stadium rock and ABBA rule, and disco is starting to send its sequin-soaked glamour across the Atlantic. For some young people, the dichotomy of what they see in their streets and what they see on top of the pops is too much to handle. It's time for a change. The 60s tried love, they will try anger. On the Old Kent Road, Steve Jones, Glenn Matlock and Paul Cook all meet at the fashion store Sex, owned by designer Vivienne Westwood and her boyfriend Malcolm McLaren. Searching for a lead singer, a young John Lydon is spotted wearing an I Hate Pink Floyd t-shirt and recruited to front what would become the Sex Pistols. The combination of the band's driving garage rock and roll sound of Lydon's acerbic and political lyrics would set the tone for what was to follow. Throughout 1976, the touring Sex Pistols would start to influence many artists around the country, producing pockets of punk that would grow in their own directions. Singer with the pub rock band The 101ers, Joe Strummer, saw the Sex Pistols and instantly started the clash. Howard Devoto and Pete Shelley, who would later form the Buzzcocks, saw the Pistols and invited the band to perform in Manchester at the Lesser Free Trade Hall.
Some weird noises coming out of these things.
That show was attended by Peter Hook and Bernard Sumner. Morrissey and Mark E. Smith respectively went on to form Joy Division, The Smiths and The Fall. The punk sound and aesthetic was also being influenced by a concurrent scene coming out of New York led by the Ramones. The Ramones landed in the UK and played a seminal gig at Camden's Roundhouse, attended by many of those who had become stalwarts of the UK punk scene. All that was needed now was for punk to break into the mainstream, and first out of the blocks was The Damned, releasing the first punk single, New Rose, a 3-minute masterpiece written by Brian Jones. And then, the moment that really shoved punk into the national consciousness, the infamous appearance of the Sex Pistols on Bill Grundy's Today Show. After being drafted in as late replacements for Queen, the Pistols turned the air blue after being goaded by the host.
Go on, you've got another 5 seconds. Say something outrageous.
You dirty bastard.
Good Lord.
This led to headlines across the national press and the cancellation of their upcoming Anarchy tour of the UK. Heading into 1977, an army of bands had formed with a new sound and attitude, ready to turn music, art, politics and culture on its head. So, that's the story of the birth of punk in the UK. But how exactly did punk change the cultural landscape?
So one of the ways that punk really affected culture is you have, for the first time in the UK, low culture transcending into higher culture. And what I mean by that, you had examples with the mods and the rockers, different moral panics where the mainstream press and really the framework of society was terrified that a youth movement would change the values, the ethos, and the way that people live in Britain. But what happens with punk is you go from kids using that music, that energy as a way to express their circumstances, whether it's being working class, not being able to get a job, and it going from a small specific group of people into the wider pantheon, if you would, of the kind of fashion being on the runway. And now it's to the point where at Tiffany's, the most expensive jeweler probably in the world, or most notorious jeweler, you can get a platinum lock like the one that Sid Vicious wore. So it's the ultimate going from something that is impactful and meaningful for a specific group to something that's just a fashion statement.
So these are the 3 reasons why you say yes to a gig. You should make sure that there are at least 2 of them involved. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself the hell out. The first reason why you should take a gig is if the money is good. Self-explanatory. The second reason why you should take a gig is if the music is good. If there is some kind of musical experience that you can have that is worthwhile to your musicality, your artistry, something that feeds your soul artistically. And the third reason, and this is, I think, the most important reason, is if the hang is good, if the people are good, if you get along with people on the gig. So, for example, you and your buddies got this gig at this like really crappy dive bar, and the music is kind of terrible that you're supposed to play, but you're with your friends. That only fits like one of those 3, and you can't make a career doing that. That's terrible. You don't want to do that. You'll burn yourself out and you won't make any money. Say that you get this really, really well-paying corporate gig. The music is kind of boring and terrible, and the people are just jaded assholes, and you really hate hanging out with them, but the money is really good. That's a reason to say no, because you've only met one of the 3, and you will burn yourself out and will not be sustainable. You and your friends are playing this like really interesting, original indie rock music that you really, really connect with, and it really makes a lot of sense to you, and it really feeds your soul, and you're with great people, and it's a great time, but the money's not all that great. That actually might be sustainable, because eventually the money will come, and you will be able to do it night after night after night, because the music feeds you, and the people feed you. Say you get a gig that is very musically rewarding. You're playing with some very, very amazing, like older musicians. The music means a lot to you, and the money is incredible, but the hang is a little toxic. That's a harder one to justify, but you can do that for a little bit longer. That's why I think that the hang, the people who are involved in making music, is probably the most important of the 3, because if you don't have that hang, then everything else kind of falls apart. In the beginning, you're going to be tempted to say yes for money. Make sure there's at least one of the other 2 involved. Otherwise, you're going to be an unhappy person. So those are the 3 reasons: money, music, hang. Make sure there's at least 2 of the 3, otherwise you won't have a career.
My name is Andy Gitchie. I just studied music production. I come from like an immigrant family. Music is not seen as a credible career to go into. All the grandchildren in my family are into like business or nursing, and I'm the only one who's like, yeah, I like music. I come from like a Christian family background. Just seeing my auntie sing praise and worship every Sunday. When service is finished, I would go over to the drums and teach myself the basic drum pattern, and being told like, well, you can't do that because you're a girl. Like, and I'd be like, no. Start like playing drum patterns. It's one of those ones where I was like, I'll prove it to you. I want to be known as the music producer you go to when you're an up-and-coming R&B artist. I don't have people I could go to and be like, yo, can you just sniff it through someone in the higher ups? You have to put 110%, especially if like you're an independent or if you're a woman producer like me. I'll show you, I'll put 100% effort into it.
We are joined today by Josh and Sam from Architects. So one more time, let's give them an uplift. What makes architects architects? You know, when you delve into so many different genres, what's that sort of key essence, or is there one? Does it just keep changing?
I think the main thing with it is I think we all have to be really stoked on it. I think there's always been that filter of like, even if we're changing and we're changing sounds, whatever the end result is, it has to be like everybody has to be stoked on it. And I think really we do, especially like recently and for those of us, we just kind of sat down and really sort of discussed where we want to take things and what we want to do. And sometimes like even, you know, Josh or Dan will bring ideas, you know, pretty fully there to the table. And then if everyone's like, this is fucking sick, then we just go with it. But I think because we've been about for so long, you can't just keep doing the same thing because it's just so, it would be boring to play and you would just sort of stagnate and it'd just be boring, wouldn't it? No one wants to hear the same record over and over again. I always think those albums are there, they're always going to be there. Each record is its own thing and people can dip in and go out whenever they want. So I just think you've got to mix it up.
Do you see guys carrying on sort of down that route then in terms of future albums that are coming out? Can we expect a sort of, any sort of extreme changes, do you think, from you guys in terms of genre? Or?
Quite a bit of a change from the last one to the previous, so it probably wouldn't be quite as big a shift. But to me, what I'd say, Sam wouldn't say this, but one of the main things is Sam's voice is very distinctive.
Yeah, hell yeah.
and like from my experience talking to Tom about the writing, I think there's always been a very like high level of attention to detail to the songwriting, like every little element. I think that's always been. And that's not necessarily a stylistic thing, but I think just the drive to try and get everything as perfect as it can be has always been there. That I just kind of ties everything.
It has always been there. It's absolutely fucking exhausting.
Gabriel Rice wanted to know, how does your writing process start?
What used to happen was with Holy Hell, when I first started writing, these guys I'd do what I used to do, which would be like sort of agonise over the parts and spend a long time with the song. And then Dan quite rightly, like, let's lose that bit, let's chop this down, lose that section, and just only have that around once. And I'd have been so attached to it, I was like, it's really hard to get used to like this new version of the song. Whereas now, it sounds lazy, I don't spend as much time on the song. I'll just like do something really quickly, just give it to him straight away, and like sometimes he's like, yeah, that's great, and sometimes he will change it, and I'm like, cool. Yeah. I'm very open to and used to that collaboration, which I hadn't really had before. Either that or like Dan will just write something from scratches, and as well like Dead Butterflies, for example, was pretty much fully formed. Sometimes I'll have like all the elements that make up a song, like a main riff, a chorus, middle eight. Sometimes I might have those ideas, but Dan will just use like the riffs, like let's say Black Lungs. That's like a 50-50 song, like the riffing stuff's me, but then he wrote the chorus.
Right, okay.
And he does, obviously, it works with Sam and Dan do all the vocal stuff together.
Sure.
So yeah, it depends on the song.
That sort of helps as well. Once you start putting vocals on things, you sort of get a gauge of like, okay, this bit needs to be done more, or this would feel better like this, and then
that happens a lot more now. Like from the initial inception of a song, it'll be how quick can we get vocals on it to see about that stuff before we live with it too long.
Yeah,
have to worry about changing stuff later on. Yeah. So it processing very quick.
Yeah.
I've always wondered with the vocals, is there a main writer for the lyrics, or do you take that yourself, or is that
No, I did all the lyrics from when I first joined the band to Daybreaker. And Tom read the lyrics on Daybreaker, and then Lost Forever, and then Dan started doing the vocals after Tom passed away, because obviously it was so close to him what he was writing about. And then, yeah, from then we've had like odd bits and pieces here and there where I've chucked stuff in, but Dan's such a great lyricist that I'm not too like bothered about trying to put my stuff in there. I more enjoy the creative process of like how we can get the vocals sounding, the layers, all the little details that no one ever notices other than me on mix 58.
I was going to say, are you someone that sort of spends a lot of time on the vocals? I mean, when it comes to the recording process?
I'm not too precious, but I know if it's not good enough.
Right.
So I think that is like years of experience of just being like, oh, okay, that doesn't thrill me.
Mm-hmm.
So
are you as quick now as you were before in terms of recording, or was it gone the other way? Or
faster in the sense of like demoing, living with the demos, and then going and smashing them.
Yeah, sure.
Because then I've lived with them for longer. But in terms of like actually getting to what the song needs or where my vocals should be, it still takes a while.
Yeah, sure.
But you just got to, but sometimes it can be instant. Sometimes you can be like, yeah, that's it. That's, you know, you've shot gold.
Yeah.
And you get that feeling, but then sometimes you just don't. You have to keep searching for it.
One thing I wanted to ask you about is that it seems like lyrically and with your artwork, you've never shied away from sort of your political sort of messages in songs. I was wondering if that's something that you've, as a band, if you sort of deliberately made that choice to sort of focus on some of those political views, or if it's something that you just find yourself all naturally writing about because of, you know, the world we live in.
Yeah, I think we've always been sort of on that page. I think especially when Josh joined, when Josh started filling in actually, like around Lost Forever, when it was like
Daybreak.
Yeah, Daybreak era was when we really started talking about that stuff and sort of finding our feet with it. And I think it's easy to be like, oh, you're like a political band or you talk about politics, but I think really, if you're not like writing about like fucking wizards or girls or love or whatever, I think everything can be brought to that and how you feel about certain situations. So I think it's really just sort of being natural about what stuff means to us.
Yeah.
I think especially for those who wish to exist, I think looking at what's going on in the world rather than sort of pointing a finger at people and saying like, why the fuck aren't people doing this, rather than it being like, well, we're all at fault for everything that's going on right now. Sort of opening up that conversation rather than blaming people, I think was important. But I think, yeah, it doesn't really feel like I think because we're in it, it doesn't feel like we're like that outspoken.
Sure.
I think I can be a complete gobshite online about a lot of things I care about, mainly animals, which some people get annoyed with, but I don't really care. It just means I can sleep at night knowing that I've tried to do something. So
Yeah. So Izzy Atkin has asked a question. This could be perhaps touching on a similar topic. How well does the current state of the industry deal or react to mental health, especially on the level that you guys are at?
I don't think there's much around us in support.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of bands and a lot of people taking it on themselves to discuss it. I think conversations within your band members is very important. I think we're all very open about if anyone is having a tough time or if anyone needs help. But I think actually as an industry, I don't think there's enough there. I don't think there can ever be enough there, because when you are struggling with that stuff, you do feel super alone. It can be super challenging. So I think it does fall on people to discuss it like we do, and we're very open about it. But yeah, I do think there could be more. I do think there could be more.
Yourself, Georgie.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously as an industry, it's not really like governed by anything. Like everyone's sort of like freelance on their own. So if you've got a problem, so then most people in bands, you know, it's hard to make a living from playing music. So to be able to afford to go private, if you do need to see someone or talk to someone's not always an option for people. Like there's big waiting lines for the NHS to speak to people. So it's tough. So yeah, it's not. But yeah, like Sam says, Sam talks about it a lot. Just talking about it as much as you can is probably the best thing.
Yeah, so my name's Ash Robertson. I study electronic music production at BIMM. I came to Bristol in the summer for the community. For drum and bass, it is 100%. I'd almost argue the best place on the planet to be. There is literally a drum and bass event on every single night in Bristol. Me and a couple of friends have set up the drum and bass society. Yeah, there's so many drum and bass people, it just seems that it's needed. Coming from Bournemouth, I just can't see myself almost going back there now and almost slowing down again. Getting a reaction of a crowd is basically what I live for. And just knowing that this is what I want to do, there's no shortcut to getting to this place. So I can always see myself DJing. I want to do that for the rest of my days, really. If you love what you do, just keep doing it. Don't listen to the first 10 people. If one person likes your music, then you're doing something right, in my opinion. So.
The only thing that ever really changed
I started on the pots and pans in my kitchen. And I made my whole family watch. I only had like one lesson a week and it was awful. I didn't practice ever. She's so good, but she just doesn't practice, doesn't care. I did care, I really did. I just found it really hard. I felt like something I had to do. Being in a band completely changed the way I thought about the drums. Something just clicked. It makes you realise how important the drums are. It's that responsibility. I don't think everyone would like that. It can be exhilarating, it can be incredible. You get rushes. I've never experienced that playing drums on my own. Only ever experienced those real highs when I'm playing on a stage with other people. Now I don't have any fear, and if I want the fear, I chase those nerves. I want to get nervous because that's how I enjoy it, and it gets me excited. For me, weirdly, since having Felix, I've been doing more drumming than ever. His presence, he's just enabled me somehow to do much more than I ever have. He's so important, and my music's just been alongside that, growing as well. I'm lucky in the way that empowered me. I could have quit at the point when I was a teenager, when I kind of had a brief spell of not playing, and I could have just not picked it back up. There's so much that I would have missed out on. But yeah, I think I wasn't done with it. I don't think I ever will. There's one thing that I don't think I'll ever be ready to stop doing. I'd like to live till I'm at least 100. I'll be in a full body cast, but I'll still be playing drums.
So I work at Nando's. It's alright, Even when I'm on a 13-hour shift at work, I'm on break, I'll take my laptop and I'll be sat in this bathroom mixing something. There's not a day that I don't do something musical. I think it helps to people. If I went a whole day without doing any music, any form of music, even if that's just doodling on my phone on an app or something, I feel like I would feel a bit weird.
I feel like sometimes I'll have notes on my phone about something, or something has made me feel a certain type of way. 9 times out of 10, the first thing that comes out is rubbish. You just gotta feel it out, you just gotta live in the moment.
I can't erase.
It's recycled thoughts about that same topic. At the same time, I always pull things from it. I think it's looking at something that you experienced in the present, but looking at it from a hindsight is a wonderful thing kind of way.
I feel like I need songwriting in order to kind of exist in the real world. I was in a really serious relationship, and the whole thing kind of broke down. But we didn't end on bad terms, and it left me very self-critical. if ever I had a problem, or if ever I was struggling, I'd just like sit and do music for like 6 hours a day would go by and then completely forget, you know, everything that's bothering me or anything that's stressing me out. It's just such an easy way for me to let go of things. You know, I'd probably be in a lot worse of a state if I didn't write songs.
My first guitar was an electric guitar, and my mum was like, I'm not getting you that. You've given up everything else. I've ever, football kits, cricket kits, given it up within a month. And she spent like, I don't know how much money. And I was like, Mum, I really want this guitar. And it was like, oh my God, like I'm going to be Slash. And then I went into indie pop scene. 1975, I was like taken back by the 1975. Everything was 1975. I just wanted to be Matt Healy. And then I got not bored of it, but then I was like, my production like kind of shot up. I took a lot of time out and was kind of learning that. I'm influenced by a lot of R&B and a lot of like, electronic music, as well as the heavier stuff like Royal Blood, plus the trap influences. And I was like, right, I'm gonna sit down and actually think of a way of bringing everything in. And it kind of happened like naturally, because I feel like the more I tried, the harder it was. And I just sat back and I was like, it will happen. It will just, and it has, in a sense.
I can't shake from my fate. There's too much to stay. It's so good to feel the bruise when I really messed up. They can't hear us. I can't erase.
If you're not right in other areas of your life, it shows in music. Because I took a year off, so I had to sort out X, Y, and Z. Like everything else happens around you, life still carries on, you still got, most people have still got a 9-to-5 job, part-time job, you're still at uni, we have the normal stresses of 20-year-olds, the average financial worries. But I just feel like I'm at a place, and I have been in a place for like a good few months now, where everything's just kind of like going along swimmingly.
It's an interesting time for our generation because anyone can start making music.
To know, will we get the same experiences as generations before us?
Our generation has this greater understanding of what's actually truly important.
The music industry changes so much, so I feel like when it gets to your generation starting, the other people doing it anyway.
Getting a reaction of a crowd is basically what I live for.
In the creative industry, it's like almost like a bit of a calling. It's like something that you're like, yeah, I have to do this. Nothing gives me the same fire in the belly.
Every single day I'm finding myself more as an artist.
Young musicians like myself who really want a career in this, we need to just do as much as we can to keep it going.
Step not a single division I rep, come round if you're down with the vision I set.
There's a greater solidarity amongst our generation. There's this sense of a collective mindset.
There's a lot more fight.
It has to be in music industry. I'm always going to be chasing the dream. This is what I want to do.
I want to be known as the music producer you go to when you're not becoming R&B artist. I'll show you I put 100% effort into it.
And music is the one thing that feels comfortable for me.
That's something that I've created and nothing can take that away. That's a great feeling.
So you've got to keep the music moving, keep changing, keep moving.
When I was growing up, I didn't see anybody that looked like me or sounded like me on the radio, ever. I can be that person for someone else.
We're all on the same page. We can affect any kind of change that we want to.
Because if we support one another, then we're all rising. You know what I mean? Everyone comes up.
That kind of community I didn't find anywhere else.
My name's Jared Tuckwell, I'm 20 and I study Year 2 songwriting at BIMM Birmingham. Kind of brought up with a lot of music. Along the road of like trying to practice guitar, I kind of came into like home recording, which I guess is kind of where the start of songwriting came to. I look on more of the kind of production side of stuff. I do a lot of like pop music, but yeah, I try and songwrite for like pop stuff, but producing on the side as well. Obviously, going to BIMM, it's kind of opened up a lot of like what's out there, so it's given me a good kind of like first step into it. And music is like the one thing that feels comfortable for me. That's amazing. For me, it's kind of like the one thing I know. I do everything else utter crap, but but like songwriting music is like the one thing that feels comfortable for me. It just feels I'm alright at doing this, so it's okay to be whatever I want to be, to be fair. So yeah.
My name's Joanna Bacon, I'm 21 and I study professional musicianship. My dad's a guitarist, so he sort of like got me into it. And then I picked it up around about 16 then, and then it just sort of stuck and I was like, oh, I quite enjoy this, like this is what I want to do. To me there's just something about lead guitar, because not many girls play lead guitar. I kind of wanted to be a bit different, I think. It's so important to, I think, encourage girls to play. All I wanted to do is music, and there's never been any girls throughout my whole school that have done it. I'm just surrounded by boys all the time. When I came here and I thought, oh, you're a girl, you play? It's like, yeah, you're... And we just sort of like formed this like girl gang. Like, this is the best thing ever, because you just get to play with your mates. And when we just go and perform, it's just like, wow, we did that. But for me, like, ultimately, music is a release.
It is Kashi Chellin. I did event management. I finished that last year. I come from a Mauritian household where music is a massive, massive thing. You can't have a family get together without someone whipping out some kind of instrument. I've always been around it and I've always loved it, and then I got to work at a lot of events, like music events. In the creative industry, it's like almost like a bit of a calling. It's like something that you're like, yeah, I have to do this. Nothing gives me the same like fire in the belly. I'm working at the moment on my arts council to put on like a multi-venue alt music festival here in Brighton with a platform for black and POC alt musicians. Because I was a dirty emo growing up and I never really saw anyone that looked like me doing it. I love this music, but I can't relate to it. And now I'm seeing like a lot more of it come up, you know, really amazing POC bands and artists, and I want to make a little platform for that here in Brighton.
Name's Laikwe. I'm currently studying music business and popular music and performance. I actually grew up on Lauryn Hill. My mum used to sing her to me in the womb. I came out loving her, singing Lauryn Hill. I just love making people happy. I love healing people. That's what I wanted to do with my music. Like, that's what I wanted to put out into the world. It literally brings tears to my eyes if I feel like someone's sad or alone. I hate it because that's how I used to feel. For every day I get to wake up is a blessing. Struggled with confidence, self-confidence, self-worth, mental health. Been a journey. The best thing I've ever done is releasing my music and sharing like my mental health through my music. It touches people. I literally don't care about streams. I don't care about any of that. I literally care about my music. Like, that's all. And whatever I get from that and whatever opportunities I get from that, I appreciate so much more. Do you know what I mean? Because if we support one another, then we're all rising. Do you know what I mean? Everyone comes up.
If you don't like Black Sabbath, you're basically wrong. My name's Chris. I work in a facilities and estates team at BIMM House in Brighton. And it's my very great pleasure to introduce the Laney LA 100BL. A complete remake of a 1969 Laney supergroup amp, which is the amp that Tony Iommi used in the early Black Sabbath years. And what we've got essentially is the original 1969 Black Sabbath sound. They're only making 50 in the world. There's only 6 staying in the UK. It's really exciting because it is such a exclusive bit of kit. It's really rare. It's really super high quality because it's hand built with original components. It's put together. You won't, other amp companies make really nice amps, and there's a lot of the big amp companies. A lot of them have gone back to the drawing boards and they're hand making vintage amps again. Like me, they're kind of ancient and a bit rough around the edges, and need a bit of TLC. But what we've got here is a brand new version of it, so it's really good to have such a high quality piece of kit. A chance to get your hands on something that you're quite possibly never going to get a chance to play again. So to get the opportunity to figure out how these things work and the fact that you're working with just a gain, you haven't got a master volume, it's a completely different animal really, but you should come and have a go on it just to enjoy it. It makes me smile every time I hear it switched on.
So I'm Lainey, I'm 19 and I study songwriting. I've always done music, that was always the thing, like from really little. I found songwriting actually through poetry. Songwriting is, just in my opinion, it's like the purest form of music making. You can get great at your instrument and that's amazing, but like songwriting I feel like captures who you are. Taps into what makes us all human, When stuff that you're doing is resonating with people, you think like, we're not all as different as we think. Like, there's a greater solidarity amongst our generation. There's this sense of a collective mindset. I think my generation's willing to change, who runs the show, more diversity, more control for the artist. If we're all on the same page, we can affect any kind of change that we want to.
I always feel like I got into rap music backwards. Yeah, I kind of started with like Rick Ross. I got mad into like Gucci Mane, real like trap stuff. But yeah, now musically it's all just the dirty underbelly of the UK. Off your mag for life. Do you know what I mean?
Winner got me in a mood, busy with nothing to do. Feel like she wasting my time. Love her, that's just what we do. Ain't like no flower, no bloom. I felt my head in the swelling. Couldn't tell you about the best of it. When I'm gone, they saying anything.
That's the last one I got. You like that?
Baby one. Doesn't look very happy.
I think the thing with being DIY is fundamental, I think, to music. There's just something beautiful as well about being involved with something that no one else really knows about. The last few months have been wild, just been selling loads of mags, been playing shows. I interviewed one of my all-time idols. Honestly, I've never really had much faith in myself, but I do believe at this point that it could actually be a possibility, which to me is wild.
Lost my marbles and I'm addicted. Too silly and I'm partly Eddie, I'm a Hardy man. I'm addicted. Zoidberg, but a hardly man. I'm a TARDIS fan. Relocated.
Alright, wheel it. Off Offie Mag is basically a magazine stocked in off licenses, effectively. It follows sort of like UK hip hop, jazz, just music that me and Greg like, basically. We've got stockists in Amsterdam, we've got stockists in London. But yeah, no, we've got stockists all around the UK. Stockists in Leeds, Nottingham, I think in Glasgow a few as well. I interviewed Slax Bianchi and I was like, oh, on the off chance, like, can you name anywhere that we could possibly email to get stocked in? He was like, yeah, cool, there's this place. I'll go there tomorrow and chat to them and see what they say, sort of thing. So that's the beauty of it as well. People want to help. People want to see us grow because people think we're doing something important. It's my way of life now. It's very strange. I do everything I do. I sort of try and find a way to incorporate Offie Mag back into it. It's a scary thought that underground will eventually not be underground anymore because there'll be a new layer of underground. But yeah, there's something very beautiful about DIY. The majority of the music I listen to are people that I'm friends with, to be honest, or people that I know or have met through the magazine. The Nokia Mansion Boys, the Parafiction Boys, Derek DAC, got Pump Fake, loads of stuff going on. We're trying to all work together to sort of build something special, I think, because you could actually create a scene this like cohesive rather than just a bunch of different groups doing different things. I will end up DJing for everyone because nobody else has a DJ. I will stand there behind the decks for 6 hours straight. I don't get paid, and I do that because I want to see people do well at what they do. Music is a feeling, like music should give you something. So yeah, I feel like when I'm on stage, I'm always getting something. Not sure what that is, sorry. It's never sadness. Put it that way.
JB no coke unless you offer it. My mind's like the internet, always buffering. Develop by the code, it's got me stuttering. Chilling in Pavilion, waiting for the time till I become oblivion. Skin rough reptilians, stand up to the leashes with distorted features. Carnivorous greedy creatures, they're out to eat ya, looming like the Reaper.
I am genuinely just surrounded by like some crazily talented people. Me and Greg on stage at Jazz Cafe with 616 Devil Gang. It's me and Wick. Yeah, it's my goat, bro. And that was backstage at Apple Sap. I got it at the banger thing, yeah. Sports Direct, it's literally a mug holder. Shout out to my boy Bone Slim. Look at this for merch though. It's a memory stick. Box of matches with his music on a memory stick. How wild is that? I spent 30 quid on this. Imagine spending 30 quid on this and getting it, and this is what you spent 30 quid on, and that's it, done. 30 quid. It's not even, it's photocopied as well. Just love it, bro. I can't not have it, do you know what I mean? I don't have any money either. Like, not to be able to spend on this sort of shit. But it's just important to me to support. Like that was a tenner for a box of matches, but it's just my mate. You gotta support that. I've recently just been through a spell of like depression. I was just going through some craziness in my brain. But it's just how you deal with that, I think. And instead of just wallowing and just being sad at home, I would be out here trying to meet people. I got a radio show, I learned how to DJ to sort of like cope with it. And it's taken me a while, but it has helped at this point now. Offie Mag is like the biggest antidepressant of all because it allows me to do what I love, show it off to people. It's them little nuggets of joy that just like help you. And that's the thing, the nuggets are always getting bigger as well. The more you do it, the bigger your nuggets get. Anyone could give me 10 grand and be like, start a magazine. It's all well and good. We could be working with like massive people, but that's kind of not the point of it. We want to be like tastemakers. We want people to look to us for the latest music. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the next big thing. It's just people that we like, that we think other people will like. I don't need anything from it. I don't particularly want anything from it. I just want to see people who have talent do well with their talent. And I literally, all I do is just dig until I find someone who has like 100 plays on a tune and it's the biggest banger I've ever heard, which does happen regularly. Yeah, I'll take that to the bank and I will always cash that in. And yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing for sure.
Grime's humble beginnings as a DIY genre remains intrinsic to its identity today, 20 years later. But how was a simple PS1 game so pivotal to the early movement? And how did it help bypass the gatekeepers of the music industry at the time? Grime began in the early 2000s, when garage artists such as DJ Target and Wiley decided that the dance genre did not reflect the realities of London life. After being blacklisted from garage raves for spitting hard lyrics, Wiley went on the search for new sounds. This new sound he found was cold and straight to the point, with gliding square waves and heavy kicks. A new style of MC was born, more greatly inspired by their dancehall roots, where they spat bars rather than cartoony isms. Before the genre landed the name grime because it sounded dirty, the genre was called Esky beat, coined and pioneered by Wiley. It was also called sublo, two-step and urban.
Certain producers came in with their own names, so Wiley wanted his thing to be called Esky beat. Johnny Cash wanted his thing to be called sublo. Like someone wanted 8-bar. That problem with all the names coming forward was they only worked with that person or that sound. It just happened naturally that we ended up going from calling it grimy garage to grime.
The journalists started calling it grime, and we're like, this is not grime. I don't want to be called grime. Who's talking about?
We were offended. Like, we were like, what are they trying to say? Like, what do you mean grime? But after a while, we was like, you know what, it is a bit grimy. Like, we get where they're coming from, and like, I guess it kind of signifies the streets thing, and so we just ran with it.
Now, Wiley pioneered Esky beat. The genre began and grew from there, but North, South and West London put their own identity on it too. In North, we had crews such as Bloodline, Meridian and Boy Better Know, with the likes of Prez T, Big H, Jammer, JME, Frisco and Skepta. Whilst in the East, we had Wiley, Kano, Manga, D-Double and Dizzy Rascal. Crazy Titch ran south whilst Flirted D flew the flag for west. Early grime sounds, when it used to be called Esky beat, came from equipment such as a Korg Triton or digital audio workstations such as Fruity Loops. That's why grime is 140 BPM, because Fruity Loops default BPM was 140. And that gliding synth sounds, well, that's a preset called Gliding Square on the Korg Triton. They also sampled video games and movies for these original sounds. And we can't forget Street Fighter, which provided so many samples and is so revered in the scene that D-Dubs made Street Fighter rhythm. What one piece of equipment is almost always forgotten about in grime's history. Not only was the PS1 a huge development in personal computing, it became more than just a games console. The PS1 was a top competitor against Nintendo 64 and Sega Saturn. However, it shook the world for two reasons. The first was it introduced 3D graphics and far larger storage facilities to the gaming industry. And secondly, it was underestimated, similarly to grime.
How do you know PlayStation is not a normal game system? It carries these telltale signs. Scientists say its effects are mind-boggling. Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world.
And you know what? The PS1 was sick. I'd rinse out Lara Croft and Need for Speed and Street Fighter. But there's one often forgotten about game that changed the landscapes for emerging electronic music genres. It was the sequel to music for the Sony PlayStation, Music 2000. Music 2000 was released in 1999, a year after the first game, and it revolutionized production forever. Not because it had an amazing wavetable synth or a simpler, but because it made a music studio accessible to regular people. It's actually where some of the early sounds and bones of grime was created, and the ability to layer tracks, thick and heavy drum beats, and even sample created the blueprint to how grime producers made music.
PlayStations, we set 17-year-old producer Benga a challenge. Make us an 8-bar tune in your bedroom using nothing but a PS1 and a £10 CD called Music 2000.
Alright, this is Benga, and I'm showing people how to make a tune on Music 2000 for the PlayStation. And you get a bass line like this. Let's make another bass line for your second part of your 8-bar. You've got 2 bass lines. Switch.
Although the game is forgotten about, it won awards for the most innovative game in 1999, and Jester Interactive Music TM range has sold more copies than any other video game music sequencer worldwide. By today's standard though, it's horrible to use. It's fiddly, unresponsive. I hate the MIDI drawing function, and the sampler is horrendous to use. However, it was an invaluable and, more importantly, a low-cost tool for producers at the time. Preloaded with aiming breaks, rolling acid house basses and a sampler, anyone in the comfort of their own home can become a musician. I mean, like, literally anyone. And that's perfect for an emerging underground genre. JME in fact recalls using Music 2000, which inspired the MC early on to begin producing. But it wasn't just a big deal for grime, it was utilised by a small number of jungle producers too. The implementation meant that the industry that was previously gatekept by producers and DJs with record label deals and financial backings, who were the only ones who could afford the DAW's computers and samplers, no longer held a monopoly over the urban music industry. Now, before, like, studio time was expensive and reserved for big money or big names. This game, however, opened the floodgates for underground producers, and people began experimenting with the limitations of Music 2000. Whilst it didn't exactly create any genres, the game did inspire a new way of working. And once Fruity Loops became readily available, it was a simple transition over. The range was discontinued in 2003 with Music 3000, but small pockets of experimental musicians still toy with the games today. So yeah, that's the story of Music 2000 and Grime. A game that came out the same year I was born, yet returning to it, I feel like I'm returning to my roots. You know, screw all the fancy plugins and DAWs. Bun Ableton that cost £500. For £6, I bought Music 2000 in 2020. And in my opinion, if you can make a sick tune on something as simple and shit as Music 2000's, then you're a talented producer.
Yes, I'm Reese and I'm studying music performance, drums and music business. The least naturally gifted musician ever. I've always loved music, like even as a kid, like really young, before I probably even noticed. So many amazing things happened for me just through like drum lessons. I had way too much energy, I got no attention span, so when I play the drums I could sit there for hours and just like lose myself in it. Maybe just like cathartic experience. Put like my headphones in, and then I'm there. I ain't got to worry about anything else. The guy who taught me drums was my stepdad. If I'd never done drums, I never would have met him, and he's probably like one of my favourite people in the world. Music would always like gravitate towards me, like that's all I care about. So you get to do something, you wake up and you go, I loved it. But yeah man, music's beautiful. The industry changes so much, so I feel like when it gets to like your generation time, the other people are doing it anyway. So you've got to keep the music moving. Keep changing, keep moving.
My name's Ryan, in music production degree. Growing up, I was much more grime orientated, so like Getz, Kano, Devlin. That was kind of one of my first loves. Then there was like the UK rap side. I was always into the UK, so it was kind of natural for me. It's something I've always been interested in from as far as I can remember. And not just music. I used to use Windows Movie Maker and put together random films.
Step, not a single division I rep. Come round if you're down with the vision I set.
And then music. I just think it's amazing how you can create something that's never been
Trying to fill my heart where my stomach is. Sinking.
Every layer
Sharpening my
makes it even more different and new and unique. And I think that's really cool. I'm quite pragmatic in my view of life. I kind of attach my value to my output.
Every other lyric that's
in terms of seeing finished products and things that I've created, you know, is infinite. It will last forever. That's something that I've created and nothing can take that away. That's a great feeling.
I'm Sophie Frost. I studied vocals at BIMM for nearly 6 years, and currently I'm the Diversity and Representation Officer. I've always sang. I kind of started singing when I was about 3 or something. I literally sing when I do the washing up. I sing doing everything, so it just kind of meant more. So that's why I kind of went towards that direction. I think with BIMM, it was kind of trying to pinpoint what part of popular music I should have been, or how people perceived me, or what kind of music I should kind of go towards. Oh, are you an R&B singer? Just from looking at me. No, I sing rock. I didn't think I was going to go towards rock at first, but I think having people have those assumptions on me, I was like, no, I'm going to go and do my rock stuff now. It exposed me to so many different types of people, and that gives me a better understanding of how to interact with people in the music industry. That's why multicultural awareness is such a key thing, especially when the music industry is so multicultural. So we need to learn from each other to like develop that awareness.
And sort of a lot of bands are sort of taking a much more sort of DIY route than ever. How do you feel about how is that going to grow? Is that going to be sort of more entrenched? Is it, a record company is going to be sort of less and less useful as they go on, or are they still going to have a place?
Yeah, I mean, I really like, obviously, I like people who do it for themselves. Again, that becomes part of your character, and it's really interesting if you've managed to create a thing. You know, some bands who start their own club night, some bands who certainly have amazing visual ideas and can convey those through shirts and stuff, or amazing sleeves. Just people who can get on and find an audience on their own. I think all that is brilliant. It's if you can make a living out of it, that's the thing, because that's what you want an artist that you like to be able to do. You want them to be able to carry on doing it and having more time to be able to do it. So I think that's all good. My real problem is there's such a gulf now between the big major labels at the top and some of the DIY operations down here, and the big labels at the top who basically control what Spotify do or what Apple do. Unless you're amongst them right up here and you're always on the right playlist and stuff, you might not be making money. It's the real problem. I mean, I've always hated major labels and everything, but there was a point where you thought, actually, it is going tits up for you now, isn't it? And we have we're getting to the point where it was almost more of a level playing field. You know, and Lawrence would start Domino, and Beggar's Group, put out some really good records. You thought, we are taking the power back. Now the major conglomerations are making £1 million, every second on streams. They have so much power and so much budget and so much influence on then what material appears on these platforms.
And that's just by this marketing spend and all of that, and the way that they just...
Oh, God, yeah. Marketing spends. Just having behind the scenes, if Spotify are trying to renew a license with a certain major label, then I imagine a certain major label are saying, well, yes, but we would like to see, please,
on the percentage
of our artists per day on this.
So they've got huge leverage that other bands just can't have. We actually talked about how the sort of algorithms were affecting the way people wrote music and changing the way they were sort of writing for Spotify in a sense. And you said, well, if you get played over 30 seconds, it still counts. So actually, the length of songs were coming down because you need 30 seconds to make it count.
I can't remember whose album we reviewed the other week. Who was it? I think it's the National's new album. It's got like 18 tracks on it. But the reason it's got 18 tracks on it is so it aggregates more Spotify streams to exaggerate them up the charts. But 18 tracks, that's not it's just really What, 18? In an age where you're saying the album is dead, you're now putting 18 tracks. Even Self-Esteem's record, that was about 16, 17 tracks. But the idea is more tracks, more streams. And I was talking to one UK hip-hop artist who shall remain nameless. I said, I really like the EP because it's really concise. It's like the old days of punk rock, really. You've got a completely different discipline, really, in hip-hop, that you're doing everything in, you know, the longest song on his EP was 2 minutes, 40 seconds. And I was going, it's great, it's really urgent. And he just looked at me as if I was bonkers and said, we get paid after 30 seconds on Spotify. Why would you write a long song? Why just write loads of short songs? Make an album out of that. That's how you get paid. But it is. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, all the hardware does change. You know,
always has.
Yeah, from the invention of for rock and roll, the 7-inch single. You know, it always changes. Even having transistor radios meant that the Beach Boys can happen because you can listen to pop music outdoors. There's always something, which is a knock-on effect. But I'm not sure this knock-on effect is as artistically liberating and exciting as some.
As it might be. So, how gripey do you feel about live venues closing? You do a lot of stuff with the Music Venue Trust, and I mean, how has that affected the way you discover new music and all of that stuff?
I mean, it's hard because in I suppose around the end of the 80s, early 90s, you could go to Camden and you could see 3 gigs in a night, just starting at the Camden Falcon. You go to the Black Horse en route to the Bull and Gate, and you could see much more music in a night. Now you have to start off by getting a train somewhere to, I don't know, in East London, in Dalston, and then if you want to see another band, you basically got to get on another train and virtually end up in Southend, and then you'll have to get an Uber back, and you've spent £500 going out and seeing 2 bands who ended up being terrible, and you think, I'll do that again next week. You can't see as much. That's the real problem, and I find it very hard to really bang on about a band unless I've seen them live, because bands can disguise themselves on record or send you 2 amazing tracks. But I think there is a tendency these days for people to get really excited by that without knowing that there's something else, and what you need is that something else. So I really I have to go and see a band, but it's becoming more and more difficult to find places, to sweep up enough bands. You wonder where the next people like us are going to find each other and form bands and start fanzines, or even just share nights of terrific, sparkling, invigorating, informative conversation. Where is that going to happen? That real life forum, where is that going to happen when all these places are being knocked down or turned into gastropubs? So I'm saying to me, because I do feel like I had quite a lot of, I fell into having quite a lot of chances where you made places where you could all get together. And it's just getting harder and harder for people, I think, young people, to find a place that they can call their own and create a thing, because a lot of these places are being taken away from them. And what makes me really grumpy is that no one in authority seems to understand or care.
Right.
I mean, there's one or two local councils who are very good and supportive, but in others, they just don't understand. They don't care. They don't see any real value in the creative element of their towns and cities.
Yeah.
Daft to me. Yeah, I'm
grumpy
about that.
That's absolutely right. If you had some words of advice, if you're starting out now as a band, what would be your sort of key things you'd want to sort of give a band to go away with?
Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Some practical skills are, necessary, but just write some songs. Write a lot of songs, because if it turns out that they're really good songs, don't put all 18 of them on Spotify. If you've got a lot of good songs, you'll need them over the course of time. Write, if you can, and I always say this to kids who want to be journalists as well, or even people who want to be DJs, but certainly anything that you're writing, just make sure you do at least half an hour a day, whatever it is. Just write. Just keep writing. If you're a writer, write, even if it's just a diary. If you're writing songs, you're doing something, just fiddle around, do something every day, and so you can start throwing bits away and move on. But don't worry about what anyone else is doing, because even if you feel like you're out of fashion now, you won't be out of fashion in 2 years' time. I can pretty much guarantee that. And you might be the person who is the one thing that is, is the new and different thing which people will eventually need. I've always liked the person at the front of some sort of movement.
Yeah.
And if you can, make friends with other artists.
Yeah.
You know, and form,
to be part of that community.
Form bonds
with
other people that you can share stuff with, even if it's ideas or stages. That, I guess, is the start. And, you know, when you're ready, send us something.
When you're ready.
When you're ready,
and then wait 6 months.
Wait 6 months, then send me something.
Dubstep today is a household genre, often referred to as Dubstep 2.0. The American offshoot has dominated the electronic scene for nearly a decade, but the original sound was birthed here in the UK. Referred to as classic dubstep or Dubstep 1.0, it's a movement that has defined the genre and led to sold-out venues across the world. But where did it all begin, and what was the importance of one record shop in Croydon? First recorded usage of the word dubstep comes from a journalist called Neil Joffrey. It was used in 2002 in an Accelerator magazine. It was used to describe the Horsepower Productions record release, but that's kind of the first documented use, the first generally accepted use of the term. And in a lot of occasions, that's kind of when it becomes a thing. It's often not the musicians that create these labels. It's the journalists or the consumers that come up with the labels. But as a sound, it kind of came into being in the mid-90s. A record store called Big Apple Records, which began in about 92. It ran till about 2004. When it started, the owner took the space in Croydon, started selling records. He was selling all sorts of weird stuff from the electronic world through to lesser known genres. As a record store, it was absolutely pivotal as a hub for budding DJs, producers, MCs, fans of the music. You would end up with people coming from far and wide to be able to listen to and buy music from Big Apple Records.
Okay, now you have it. The Big Apple, 37 Surrey Street, Croydon, East Croydon. It's real.
Some of the people that stood out, firstly, he was the guy that was behind the desk at Big Apple Records for a number of years. His name was Hatcher. Him and Big Apple Records were pivotal, absolutely quintessential in making this scene what it was back in the noughties. If it hadn't been for them, guys like Screaming Bengal wouldn't have come along. These were two people who independently, in their early teens, before they could legally go raving, were going along to this record store with their lunch money and picking out things that they liked the sound of. Hatcher started feeding them dubstep records. Really early dubstep. This is the same stuff that was being made on Fruity Loops, on PlayStation games. People like Benga and Scream started understanding that they could make music, and they were considered teenage child prodigies because they'd go and buy their records, they'd jump on decks a couple of weeks later in Big Apple Records and blow the rest of the crowds away. And when I say crowds, these weren't just any people. These turned out to be the people to be known with, and they were doing it from their early teens, which is testament to their careers to date. Another notable name would be Artwork. As someone who was creating music in the upstairs of Big Apple Records till 2004, he got a very good reputation. In the 2000s, he even produced a record that would go on to spawn a whole pop career. The artist was Daniel Bedingfield and the track was Gotta Get Through This. Artwork would go on to join Scream and Benga to become one of the first dubstep supergroups, Magnetic Man. Also notable in the early 2000s, so after the record store had been open for nearly 8 years, Mary Ann Hobbs stepped up as a bastion of new music on the BBC late night airwaves, started something called the Dubstep Wars.
It's the Breeze Block, Dubstep Wars.
There was a real flashpoint around about the end of 2005, sort of beginning of January 2006, where it really felt that the producers had found their feet. There was a sense of momentum gathering within the scene as well, and that's something that my show on Radio 1, that's where we really seriously began to document it with programmes like Dubstep Wars, etc. But Dubstep Wars was a Radio 1 programme that I put together in January of 2006, and the idea was to capture something of the spirit and the energy and the momentum that I could see building within the dubstep scene.
This is where I came across dubstep, on an FM frequency, which was unheard of. It was the first time, and it's likely that it received complaints. Alongside her were people like John Peel, who were fans of particular strains of dubstep.
John Peel was one of the first
well, actually was the first person to play my music as well as my peers' music on what we consider to be, which is mainstream radio.
Along with that was a whole medley of pirate radio stations. But these pirate radio stations didn't last long. They were up and down in a fortnight. But that level of secrecy and ultimately ownership is what helped this as a genre cement itself with its listener. So some of the first nights didn't come along till slightly later. The first notable one, Forward. Stylized as FWD, the venue was called Plastic People. Plastic People was a venue that held host to some of the earliest examples of dubstep DJs honing their craft, cutting their teeth, or they went to Plastic People and listened to other DJs. Also notable, Mala. He started a collective called Digital Mystics and a night called DMZ. The tagline for DMZ was meditate on bass weight, and it came to represent a whole scene. The DMZ nights were infamous. They started out at little clubs. Big clubs wouldn't touch them back in the day. They were still considered that bastard child of electronic music, but eventually popular demand got them into clubs like Fabric. Then they started selling out stages, selling out events.
DMZ's always a banging night to play at. Always good. You know, they won't just stick on a mishmash of everyone and all the big names and what's hot now. They will stick to their roots and play what is relevant.
If you know you're booked for DMZ, you have to have something that no one's heard before. You wouldn't just turn up with your regular sort of Saturday night record box. You would have to have something no one's heard before in your life. It's almost like that's the entry fee for a DJ to go in.
By this point, dubstep was starting to branch out. It wasn't just a London-centric sound anymore. Whether it be in Birmingham, whether it was in Leeds, there were clubs that were playing this sort of music and building their own communities. And ultimately, that's what all this was about. There was Leeds Sub-Dub Night, which was running for over a decade in various places, and also clubs in Birmingham like Suki 10C that would be putting on really early dubstep nights, again, building those communities. The commercial rise and explosion came with tracks like Benga and Koki's Night, which flipped on its head completely every rule of making electronic music. The follow-up to that was Scream and Benga eventually getting a show themselves on Radio 1. That really was their crowning moment. They were doing world tours, taking the sound around the globe. Also, we mentioned Magnetic Man, a trio of 3 personalities that dominated the dubstep world. They combined and collaborated with the likes of KTB, birthed her career really, and topped the charts in the UK, which was the first time that it was really being done. Taking the sounds across the pond, of course, you had Scream and Benga, but they were kind of preceded and then succeeded by the likes of Dr. P, Excision and Datzik, and of course, American-born Skrillex. Of course, we've got viral examples of the Harlem Shake. That was slightly later on in 2013, but throughout the 2000s and into the 2010s, you came across a lot of American producers who would use dubstep samples and production in some of their album tracks. Notably, there was Jay-Z, there was Rihanna, even Snoop Dogg sampling dubstep. So with every rise has to come a bit of a fall, and I think with dubstep, that's something that we all saw. As a sound, it did change, and this is when it starts moving from being dubstep 1.0 into dubstep 2.0. As a sound, it became distorted, and its own amalgamations took on different energies. You had the likes of Brostep, Funtcase, Trolley Snatcher, the more screechy, high-end dubstep that was produced by UK producers, but they took the crown and then took it over to America into what became EDM. There's a good old mantra, evolve or die. This is something that I remember a DJ called Plastician saying. With the development of EDM, of course, people were going to move to that. As the sound moves on, people like to stay up to date. But there was a core, strong, sustained support in the UK of this sound that we birthed and grew. It led to worldwide acclaim, but those original sounds still take precedent here in the UK, and there are still huge examples of it. As a sound, it can still be consumed. The great thing about a genre that's developed as the internet's developed is that there's so much content online. The labels are still going. Before lockdown, the club nights were still doing really well. Outlook Festival and various other festivals still go on and still pay homage to a sound birthed here in the UK.
Just want to do a little introduction.
Introduction?
Rinser, do a rinser. Absolute fucking Just try again, yeah? After you've gone. Alright, yeah. You can do it over once, can't you? Okay,
Hello everyone. We're delighted we're here to enjoy today's performance together. Brighton Dome is working hard to make events as safe as possible currently, and there are a range of safety measures in place today. You can help us be together safely by wearing your face covering. Thank you.
Brazil? Did we do Brazil? Fire. How about this one? That's good. Fire. Did you got the video of that? That's what happens, isn't it? The pressure from don't get around much anymore. You see? 1, 2, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed and very special guests, colleagues from BIMM, the University of Sussex, and from the music industry, but most importantly, all of you talented and about to graduate BIMM graduates and your guests, welcome to your BIMM graduation class of 2021! And how fantastic you all look. You're very welcome. It is my great privilege to welcome you all here and to be able to celebrate with you and your families in these most glamorous and culturally significant surroundings in this truly special and auspicious day. During the ceremony, we will hear from my esteemed colleague here on stage, Professor Kelly Coate, Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Education and Students at the University of Sussex. Sorry, Kelly. And we have a legend of the music industry here to congratulate you on your incredible achievement. Also, you're going to hear from some of your lecturers and your course leaders who have worked so closely with you to help you reach this memorable moment today. You will receive your certificates and leave later today ready to embrace the next stage of your careers and creative development, knowing that you take forward a qualification from one of the world's most prestigious universities, plus the vital knowledge, experience, and connectivity with the music industry that BIMM has helped you realize. As we welcome you up on stage to collect your certificates, you should know that you will be walking in the footsteps of some of the world's greatest musicians that have performed exactly where we stand. ABBA That's great. Every time. I love it. ABBA won the Eurovision Song Contest back in 1974 with Waterloo. And Pink Floyd played here 8 times, beginning that journey back in 1966, supporting the legendary Jimi Hendrix. In 1973, the late David Bowie's performance literally tore the place apart. Our little local paper, the Argus, they reviewed the gig and went on to report that 18 seats were ripped from the auditorium and 4 fans fainted from his wild performance. No ripping of seats, no fainting, please. There are definitely certain moments in life that you'll never forget. This is one of those moments. It is big, a real achievement, and for me and the BIMM team, something we feel very proud to be part of. A graduation event for BIMM is the culmination of everything we have done together to support you all to get to this launch point in your lives as professionals in the music industry. These moments of celebration and success remain the most precious and most memorable for me and my colleagues here today. We all know how hard you have worked and that it has not always been easy. We also know how superb it feels to achieve something so big in life when you have struggled to get there. And let's face it, it is that struggle that makes it all the sweeter. Oh, yeah. At this time, I would like to invite my esteemed colleague from the University of Sussex to say a few words. Please put your hands together for a great supporter of our work at BIMM, Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Education and Students, Professor Kelly Coate.
Graduands, family, friends, and colleagues, this is a day for celebration and fun rather than long speeches. But I want to take a few moments to offer you warm congratulations and to put your achievements into some context. You will shortly, officially become graduates of the University of Sussex and will be invited to walk across this stage to receive your certificate. And some of you will question your choice of footwear whilst doing so. But the University of Sussex is ranked amongst the top 10% of universities in the world by the Times Higher University World Rankings. Sussex has a long-established international reputation for innovation in both its teaching and its research. We're proud to have 5 Nobel laureates on our staff in our 60-year history, and our graduates have gone on to make a huge impact in many areas across the globe. Usually at this time, I read out a list of distinguished graduates to kind of impress everyone of Sussex, but I just want to say this time that I can't wait to add one of your names to that list in the future. You're already guessing which one, aren't you? The university has been in partnership with BIMM Institute for almost 2 decades, and it's an association that Sussex very much values. We know that at BIMM Brighton, you've studied in a pretty special place. And it can be quite daunting to go out now and make your way in the world. We know that studying whilst contending with the global pandemic and living with all the various restrictions has been a huge challenge for you. You should be incredibly proud that you completed your studies during a period of such uncertainty. And it took new skills, determination, and resilience to get you to where you are today. So while your plans might change and new challenges might emerge for you, you can now call on the experiences, skills, and qualities that enabled you to achieve a globally recognized degree. And with the music, business, and creative skills you've learned at BIMM, with your professional attitude now and your ability to adapt, not to mention your talent, you're about to embark on new careers at a time when the music industry is evolving to meet new challenges and new opportunities. You will be a part of that, and Sussex is very proud to be associated with you. So before I end, I just want to acknowledge that you might not have got where you are today without the support of your friends, family, and loved ones, and this is particularly true, we know, for the graduates of this cohort. I think that many of the loved ones who supported you are probably here with us, and so what I'd like you to do, if you can, is stand up and turn around and show them your thanks with me. Oh, thank you. I know how incredibly proud they are of you. So finally then, let me offer you all of my many congratulations on your fantastic achievement and remind you that whilst your time at BIMM Institute may have ended, this is only the start of your next chapter. Enjoy your celebrations, and thank you.
Thank you for your inspiring words, Professor Coates. Okay, let's hear a little bit about the journey you've just travelled from some familiar faces. Roll VT, please.
So, sorry, Andy, I can't really hear you. Can we lose these? I think it's all right to take them off now.
Keeps my double chin up, I suppose. Hello, Simon.
That's a bit better.
Well,
nice to see you, Andy.
You too. Well, it's been a bit of a year, hasn't it?
It's been an interesting couple of years.
Bit of a 2 years. Good point.
The thing I love about graduation day is making the mums cry. By telling them how amazing their sons and daughters are. It's such a pleasure to speak to them and say what a great experience we've had.
Oh, wow. Seeing everybody after so long. You know, people are going to have totally different hair and be wearing outrageous outfits, so just catching up with all the...
Seeing people again, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the joy on people's faces, seeing people proud of what they've done.
Letting my hair down, as you can see.
I love it when I walk up to the venue and I see the students outside in their gowns with their loved ones looking so proudly, having their photos taken.
It's really nice seeing people in their glad rags after teaching them on Zoom, where you essentially most of them are in their pyjamas. See them all dressed up and feeling sort of super proud is rather lovely.
Reverse clapping, so my hands don't hurt. None of us have ever been through anything like this. It's been absolutely historic, and hope to goodness none of us ever do again. But it's just, this is the most special graduation ever, and I've been at BIMM since
1970s?
1936.
Okay.
No, teaching during lockdown was a living hell.
First week of lockdown, one of the exam team's members' husbands walked across the frame in his pants.
There were two students that have a shared house. One of them would go off, you know, from the screen, and I'd see this puff of smoke.
Oh, having to save my cat's dignity, she decided to reverse towards the camera. There's not a lot of fun teaching on Zoom, but the thing that was kind of nice was teaching in slippers.
I got my timetable mixed up. 5 minutes beforehand, I realised, oh no, it's starting now, and I was still in my pyjamas. Put on a top quickly, Zoom call.
I did love the fact that the Lost Sessions crew adapted so brilliantly during lockdown. They were amazing. They were so creative and passionate, and we created some of the best content we've ever done.
There was also baking happening at one point. We kind of went from being how to do a spreadsheet to constituents of a good banana loaf.
Behind the person was like a naked mannequin with a kind of a gimp mask on.
So there's nothing memorable about it whatsoever, and I'm trying to erase it from my memory banks.
What am I going to miss the most? I'm going to miss the characters. So many beautiful, bright stars, all hopeful and inspiring, and I just feel happy for the music industry that this is the future.
What I'll miss most is not having seen them so much in the classroom.
That feeling of community. I feel like we all went through a tremendously difficult period, you know, not just kind of in our lives as you normally would doing a master's, but you know, with the world kind of falling apart outside and everyone having their own slight crises and just being there for each other. What will I miss the most?
Correct, next question.
I don't miss them because I always keep in contact with them, to be fair. That was a nice answer. What's that about?
I genuinely do miss the students when they leave. They bring so many interesting conversations and so much to my life that every time they go, it's like losing friends.
The energy, the vibe, the gigs. I do a lot of the auditions at BIMM, so it's amazing to see some of the ideas that people have and they bring to the stage.
Every year I miss the students. No, actually, let's start that again. Very little, they're all replaceable.
Number one, if you're wearing heels, I would practice walking in them first because those stairs are quite steep.
Graduation day, drink a lot, fall over, kiss the wrong person.
Yeah, smile.
Yeah, remember it, kind of live in the moment because it's a special point in life, right? So,
for graduation day, just be in the moment and enjoy it, and it's about you and your family.
On the day, just soak it all in, kind of feel your awesomeness.
Be nice as often as you possibly can. Everybody you meet, be interested in them, be interested in their history because you may find a lifelong connection in that person.
Keep busy. Take on as many things as you can, but don't burn yourself out.
Best thing a graduate can do is say yes. Yes to every opportunity that comes and then work out how to make that happen once you've done it.
Question everything, dig deep, because that's where the diamonds lie.
Probably the most resilient students for in the history of BIMM, I think. So I think take your time, but just be patient. I think you've done an amazing job. A little reflection as well in terms of how well you've done. We're all unique. We've all got different skills and talents. Time to find them.
Hello, graduates. A massive congratulations to you all.
Just a general congratulations. Nothing else? Okay.
Congratulations, it's been such a blast teaching you all the last few years. I wish you all the very best with your careers.
Please look after yourselves and stay in touch.
Oh God. Yeah, I need to not think. This is the trouble.
So sorry I haven't been able to be here at this great event, and I wish you all the best of luck, and it's been a pleasure teaching you. So good luck for the future. Thank you.
Congratulations, my lovelies. Not only have you got a degree, but you've got a degree in a pandemic. If you can do this, you can do anything. You're invincible.
Songwriters, you're the cat's ass.
Congratulations.
Hey everyone, massive congratulations on your graduation. It's not been an easy ride.
Congratulations, you have made it through the hardest degree of all time, and life is just going to be easy after this.
You've done amazingly well. I'm sincerely very proud of all of you, and your lives are going to be fantastic, I promise.
Well done, everybody. We're all super proud of you, and we're wishing you all the very best for the future. Good luck.
Congratulations at the order of the day. Wholeheartedly, from me, you can have some. Hasn't been the easiest couple of years, and we're there though. Well done. I'll miss you all. Take care.
Well done. Congratulations. You've made it through a tremendously significant and difficult challenge. Well done.
Hello everyone. Massive congratulations to you all. Really well done. We got there. You should be so proud of yourselves. Have a great day. Stay in touch.
Believe in yourself. You've got this far, which is amazing. You will continue to go on and do amazing things.
Congratulations, everybody. Great work.
Congratulations. So you did the finger points and now I'm doing the finger point. Good luck with everything and be yourselves and go out and make great music.
Congratulations! Well done. You've done really well. You've got this far. You've passed. We're all proud of you.
You really deserve it.
Well done.
From the Student Services team.
Congratulations!
Final parting words into the camera. Always be professional and try not to.
Ladies and gentlemen, your BIMM team. The late, great Jimi Hendrix, who I mentioned earlier, once played upon this very stage. He said, if there is a something, anything to be changed in this world, then it can and will only happen through music. We believe in that message, as does our music industry guests today. I'm just going to hand it over to the video for this section.
Sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air. I know I can count on you. Sometimes it seems going gets too rough, and things go wrong no matter what I do. Twisting my minutes. He's gonna step on you again. He's gonna step on you. He's gonna step on you again. He's gonna step on you.
Thank you, Neil. Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big welcome to Rowetta!
Incredible, because I love what I do. The last time I was on this stage, I was with Happy Mondays in 2019 in our tour, and we'll be coming here again on the next tour. The reason I think that I'm still doing it is because, well, I know I love it. And especially during the pandemic, I realised how much I can't live without music, whether it's recording, performing, or writing. I love it, it's in me. It's not going to be in everyone, even if you've done this course, you might find it's not for you. If you're doing it for fame or money, then you're probably in the wrong game. It works for some people, but it's usually temporary. And I managed to work with some of my heroes. I mean, the last time I sang at Glastonbury was with Hacienda Classical, big orchestra. But the time before that, in 2000, David Bowie was watching at the side of the stage, going on after us. And he was chatting to us after and talking about our music. And it was just incredible. And that's what this industry can do for you, if you love it and do it for the right reasons. And obviously, if you've got the talent. And during lockdown, I learned how to record myself properly, so that I'm not relying on anyone, how to use social media properly. It's really important. And because I want to stay in this game until I die, I love it, it's what I love. And if it's in you, it's such a great career. And I hope you all do well in whatever you want to do. Don't be afraid of trying different things. I remember Peter Hook asking me to sing Joy Division songs with him. And I said, I'm too scared. And all the boys he'd asked, all of them, from Tim Burgess, lots and lots of people he'd asked, they were too scared. And I did it, and it's one of the best things I ever did. Walking on stage and Joy Division fans accepting me was incredible. So don't be afraid to try new things, and hopefully in 40 years, you'll still be doing it and loving it as I am. Good luck, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Rowetta. Okay. The moment has arrived when we will welcome BIMM graduates to the stage to be conferred the University of Sussex Awards. They will be received by Professor Kelly Coate from the University of Sussex and our special guest Rowetta. Graduates will also receive a scroll from me, your college principal, to mark this special occasion. Our first cohort to be called to the stage is BA Hons Professional Musicianship. And to call up each graduate, please welcome your course leader, the mighty Jim Williams.
Hello, everyone. Honoured guests, colleagues, family and friends, although learning never stops in life, I have personally learned to keep it brief. So let me cut to the chase and present to you today the graduates for the BA Honours in Professional Musicianship, class of 2021. Toya Hunton. Isabella Hale. Ella Lawler. Edda Eriksson. Maria da Silva Novi. Thomas von Streeter. Alana Rose Rutham Hayward. John Conway. Lloyd Wilson. Joseph Green. Lucy Kendall. Matilda Bond. Nefeli Akrivopoulou. Björg Marie Schersen. Jamie Percy. Alexandra Jelly-Clidou. Alicia Hutchings. Claire Atherton. Madison Barnett. Ione Croft. Lewis Pugh. Ross Findlay. Benedict Duran Burke. Julia Waller. Zoe Cameron. Ben McNamara. Ignacio Semperi Sanchez. Jack Morrow. Aina Lal. Marco Ferrarese. Simone Yaria. Jeremy Perlant. Mickey Deere. Benedict Stone. Ben Maxwell. Jade Middleton. Chloe Brown. Luke Morton. Stephanie Zielinska. Tristram Arnold. Angelina Laker. Sarah Jackson. Alana Martin. Natalie Macera. Charlotte Barker. Alice Flower. Jack Gleed. Max Eldridge. Henry Terrett. Vasilios Papachristou. Sarah Strudwick. Zachary Goldie. Michele Brivio. Silvio Companin. Samuel Horsley. Thomas Tullyfield. Maxim Pringle. Thomas Collins. Daniel Norman. Alex Lievre. Ellie Johnston. Norton Monaghan. Hannah Leah Brandes. Selina Heinen. Julia Compera. Ryan Hannigan. Russell Burrows. Nicola Beguin. Louis Squire. Callum Garland. Regan Parham. Oliver Port. Caitlin Whitman. Tom Hodges. Tom Coram. Daniel Cox. Natalia Christoforou. Dina Posedi. George Crump. Joseph Gaukroger. Gary Holder. Annabelle Whittle. Leila Deely. Samuel Crease. James Criddle. Jasmine Ardley. Aidan Drew. Reese Smith. Emily Lodge. Matthew Cruz. Maya McCarthy. It was a bit. Thank you all. I'd now like to present my friend and colleague, the course leader for songwriting, Andy Bray. Sort that out, will you?
All right, there, Scott. Well. Good afternoon, beautiful people. So not so much a happy Monday as a amazing Wednesday. So yeah, I was privileged to know you all from hopefully BA1. And you know, when I said, do you remember when I said at the start of the course that before you know it, the course will be over and you'll be bouncing across the stage at the Dome? Kind of remember that? I was wrong. Sorry, I was a year out. So anyway, so obviously I've been at BIMM for a couple of years now, but this is the most special year ever. So for all of you who've got through this, each and every one of you, fantastic job. So without further ado, let's do the thing. So Scott. Oh, all right. Let's go. Thank you. So Bronwyn Latham. Hold on, Brom. Caitlin King. Lisa Tenbulter. No? Dana Jordan Murphy. Patrick Phillips. Penny Standen. Hold on, Pen. Laurie McMahon. Fraser Norton. Kira Wood. Tane Evans. Jessica Mingo. Julienne Ivaz. Chiara Magrini. We've hit the Italian contingent. Marco Donna. Sophie McClelland. Thanks, Scott. Luciano Cusack. Jem Howard. Joe Morgan. Naomi Johnson. Samuel Green. Christian Celicia. William Coupland. Rachel Kasim. Ines Ramos de Teresa. Alex Marion. George Castleton. Well done, George. Samantha Parrish. Well done, Sam. Megan Hellstrip. Well done, Meg. Jessica Newman. Alex Vass. Catherine Madge. Anna Rees. Louis Saunders Webb. Stop it. Which one's going first? Eugene Algar. You're a funny guy. It gave me the wrong card. Jamie Broughton. Very good. Alexander Hewitt. Justine Perret. Saga Wallström. Tom Russo. Claudia De Rito. Finley Taylor. Well done, Finn. Is that us? I think that concludes the votes for the songwriting jury. So I'd like to hand over to my esteemed sonic colleague, course leader for music production, Matthew Hodson.
Thank you, Andy. I know how long we've all been looking forward to this day, so we'll get straight into it. It gives me great honour to announce the graduates for the BA Honours in Music Production. Douglas Stokes. Good mate. Stuart Perks. Jack Shingler. Matthew Pugh. James Virtue. Robert Smith. Joseph Dove. Noah Fox. Max Fegan. Hugh Wiseman. Elliot O'Hara. Matt Flood. Alexandra Kiprianou. Victoria Morgan. Jono Suter. Rosa Sweeting. Edward Wilcox. Louis Salter. Benjamin Gibson. Robert Scarlett. Robert Delicate. Joseph Puck. Owen Thomas. Joshua Spencer Fletcher. Adrian Bunn. Mark Allen. Daniel Davis. Vaughan Spragg. Graham McGann. Scott Clark. Mackenzie Barker. Ben Arrowsmith. Louis Heyman. Isaac Anderson. Domantas Ostrauskas. Arthur Young. Joshua Scarrett. And that concludes the graduates for the BA Honours in Music Production. Welcome. I'd now like to hand you over to my colleague, Dr. John Stewart, for the BA Honours in Event Music Business.
Thank you, Matt. Congratulations, everyone. This is a really, really special group. You've completed your qualifications under extraordinary circumstances, so very well done. And I'm particularly grateful to have the opportunity to bond with so many of these students prior to things kicking off at the end of year 2. Congratulations to all of you. Anybody who wants to come back, we do have a fantastic suite of master's courses as well. You're all welcome on that. But let's start by welcoming the BA Honours Music Business class of 2021. Alexander Andrews. Josh Harrington. Robin Francis. Jake Hamilton. Joe Sweeney. Daniel Weston. William Rawding. Well done, Will. George Batten. Thomas White. Will Hewer. George Dunster. Lewis Hannaford. Vincent Mongay. Angelica Jasinska. Poppy Newsome. Althea Kilpin. Hallam Anderson. Joshua Vest. Well done, Josh. Well done. Catherine Eveling. Jodie Botterill. Well done, Jodie. Okay, well done everyone. Fantastic to see you all. It's now my great pleasure to introduce probably the most popular course leader here at BIMM Brighton, not least because he's also the manager of Revenge Club and controls the guest list. Please welcome course leader for event management, very, very great guy to work with, Steve Jones.
Thank you, Dr. John. Sadly, Revenge is closed tonight, guys, so no guest list. Sorry. It'll be open again tomorrow. Hello, though. Hello, welcome. The next students that I'm going to introduce onto this stage spent half of their degree in event management unable to actually put on an event or work at an event, and yet they still excelled on the course, and they've been doing fantastic things in the industry since finishing. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce them, the graduates for the BA Honours in Event Management. Starting with Caris Blythen. Isabel Ellers. Neve Beggan. Rosie Finn. Lucy Norman. Yulia Vashalevska. Liberty Carpenter. Rebecca Martin. That was short but sweet. So I'd now like to introduce you to a bit of a legend at BIMM. The brilliant course leader of music journalism is James Kendall.
Hi there. Hi, it's my pleasure to announce the graduates for BA Honours Music Journalism, a group of hard-working, resourceful people who took the biggest curveball of our generation and simply dealt with it. Every one of them now heading to the stage, and every one of you that has walked across this stage tonight should be forever proud of that fact. Mason Myers. Harry Blunt Bigwood. Samuel Chalice. Myrtle Goldsmith. Ryan Forcraft. Elliot Wilcox. Duncan Royer. And now I'd like to welcome Martin Wright back to the podium.
Big round of applause for yourselves. Well done. That concludes the conferring of the University of Sussex Awards. Thank you again, Professor Coates. You're wonderful course leaders. You are now graduates. Okay, for our next section, I would like to welcome to the lectern BIMM's Academic Director and Provost, Professor Louise Jackson.
Thank you. Wow, you all look gorgeous. I'm really jealous of some of the shoes that I have just seen parade on this carpet. Thank you, Martin, for hosting this fabulous ceremony, and thanks to all our guests, staff, graduates, and our esteemed members of the governing body of BIMM Institute who are here in the audience today. What an immense pleasure and privilege it is to be standing here talking to you today. These are my first graduation ceremonies as Group Academic Director and Provost at BIMM Institute, and it seems rather fitting that it should be on the very stage where I graduated with the University of Sussex Music MA, what feels like eons ago. It also feels a great honour that my maiden ceremonial duties are honed here with the Brighton BIMM team, who are celebrating 20 years of BIMM in Brighton this year. Many congratulations to you all. Supporters, families, friends of all of our graduates, what they have achieved is amazing, and I hope you hold them with great pride, and I'm sure you do. Savour today and enjoy indulging in the cap and gown experience, whether they're real or imaginary. Many of you sitting here today will have faced significant challenges during your time with us. Some of you will have been the first to graduate in your family. Some will have had caring or work responsibilities or work responsibilities to juggle while studying. Some of you, like me, as I've just demonstrated, are dyslexic and may have struggled. Thank you. Or otherwise neurodiverse. You may have been navigating various mental health conditions while studying. If this wasn't enough, the global situation of the past 2 years has increased the potency of these challenges and caused a devastating wave of grief across communities. Some of you sitting here today will have experienced that great loss. I want you all to know that we see those challenges that you've faced, and your sacrifices and losses are cared about and honoured along with you today. Class of 21, this graduation day, as I'm sure you will appreciate, is about celebrating a beginning. Today is the start of the next stage of your life, And as artists, creatives, teachers, practitioners, promoters, and events producers, I want to let you know that you now have a huge responsibility. You have a responsibility to go out into the sector and transform it into the type of industry that you want to be part of, one that is inclusive, inquisitive, encouraging, creative, and to offer challenge to the way they've always been done. You, like BIMM Institute itself, are not made in the mould of what has come before, but instead of the stuff that makes you ready to lead us into the industry of the future, and that is yours to create. You give us and the world around us hope through your creativity. You see, the role and responsibility of everyone involved in the arts is to help others experience the world in different ways. That's the beauty of an education at BIMM Institute. You are on the journey to live your best lives through developing your best possible self, ultimately leading to who you want to be. Getting a higher education is tough, but it's also transformative. I hope, as you have sat here today, you've been able to reflect on how the rigour and challenge of your time with us has helped you in that journey to where you want to be. I want to also take a moment to tell you that you are not the only ones who have been on a rigorous journey. In March 2019, BIMM Institute was granted taught degree awarding powers by the order of the Privy Council of the United Kingdom. If you've never heard of those before, they're very, very important, and they're ruled by the Queen. This means that following a lengthy and rigorous application and scrutiny process, BIMM Institute now has the right to award its own undergraduate and taught postgraduate degrees independently of a university partner. And I am delighted and honoured to be part of today's ceremony, where we will celebrate the first small cohort of students to graduate with a BIMM Institute award. And we'll get to that in a minute. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the University of Sussex, our long-standing university partner, for allowing us to combine our first BIMM Institute Award ceremony with the university's award ceremony. And I want to thank Professor Coate for taking the time to attend the ceremony and for your very kind words. BIMM Institute has worked in partnership with the University of Sussex for nearly 20 years, and we are truly grateful for the support we've consistently received throughout that time. May I now take this opportunity to thank the entire Brighton College team, tutors, course leaders, senior management, student services facilities. It takes an entire team to teach our students, and I am indebted to the dedication they have for them all. If you are able, I would ask you to all in this auditorium be standing and show your appreciation to the BIMM College team. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how hard the teams have worked in incredibly complex circumstances to make sure that you had a continuity of provision, but also a BIMM experience during the last few years. Now, finally, it's time to focus on our BIMM Postgraduate Awards, and this is an absolute honour to present our students. Our postgraduate school is a growing part of our community, and we have a brilliant team of course leaders and tutors, led by the head of the postgraduate school, the indefatigable Professor Mark Irwin, who's sitting over there looking a little bit like a Belisha beacon. We are truly, I believe, leading the way in what creative postgraduate study should look and feel like. So as our postgraduates cross the stage, I would ask you to really celebrate their achievement. It's an amazing one. So therefore, it is my great pleasure to call to the stage the graduates that have achieved their postgraduate certificate in learning and teaching professional practice. Anna Molson. It is now my great pleasure to call to the stage the graduates that have achieved their MA, Learning and Teaching in the Creative Industries. Rebecca Gregorczak. Jessie Balsam. Simon Gray. It is now my great pleasure to call to the stage the graduates that have achieved their MA Popular Music Practice. Oliver Green. Dexter Krenell. Gabia Casello-Skate. Molly Clack. Finley Thompson. That concludes the presentation of our BIMM Institute Awards, and I will ask my colleague, College Principal Martin Wright, to return to the lectern. Thank you very much.
For our final section today, BIMM would like to recognise two outstanding achievements, actually. College Principal Award is for the most outstanding Year 3 project that achieved the highest grade across the entire college. This year, the award goes to two exceptional students. One music business, well done, John. One music production, well done, Matt. They both achieved 86% for an outstanding piece of work. So please give a massive BIMM congratulations to Jodie Botterill. An Oscar moment. Unfortunately, Samuel Kleins cannot be here to attend today, but we will make sure he gets his award. But giving him a nice virtual cheer, I think, yes. Maybe it will reach him. So we're nearing the end of your wonderful ceremony. Now, as you can imagine, an event like this takes a lot to put on. Event management students, you know this. Sorry, event management graduates. You definitely know this. So I'd like to take this moment just to thank a few people. I think it's really, really important just to nod my head to the people behind, backstage, really, that put all this wonderful show on for you all. each year. I'd like to firstly thank Hayley Skay, who's not here today. She's our Senior Higher Education Administrator, deals with all your certificates, the data, and making sure your marks are correct and everything all pulled into our system. And her wonderful colleague, who is now my relay partner, as you saw all day today, Elizabeth Giffen. If you could give her a big round of applause, please. There's one particular person that I've worked with for over 15 years now at BIMM. She has been responsible for all the wonderful guests and masterclasses that you got to see throughout your time here. She's involved in putting on those big gigs at the end of term and semester that you've done and got involved in. Wendy, where are you? Wendy? 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 Hey, come out so they can at least see you. A big round of applause for your event head, Wendy Law. Scott, Tommy. Do you want to come out, gentlemen? There's Scott Booth and Tommy Taylor. Just hang there. Hang there. Sorry, gentlemen. I think this may be your last graduation. I think you actually were up here collecting your certificates a few years back. Now you're both off doing wonderful things with your careers. You've been working with Wendy, helping put on all those amazing events, getting all those fantastic guests in, looking after them. I think it's really important that we just honour the moment, really, for you both. It's been a pleasure working with you. You've turned into amazing professionals. My God, you as an artist, Scott, you've got to look up Scott Booth. He's an incredible artist. And you may already recognise Tommy from Black Honey, a fantastic graduate band from a few years back now. They went out and did it themselves. They went, bye-bye record labels, we'll do it ourselves, and they are continuing to power forward, so please support them. And we want to just say a huge thank you from all of the BIMM team for everything that you've done for the last few years. And a little champers to say thank you. Thanks, gents. Okay, although we're coming to the end of our ceremony, this is very much the beginning of your journey. So before I finish and let you go celebrate with your family and friends, I would like to say a few final words. We feel it is important to recognise the journey you have just completed, particularly the challenges and the obstacles that were in your way over the last 2 years because of a particular global event that I will not say by name. That's amazing. I've got my Harry Potters on as well, so. You have endured, you dug in, and you battled to get here today. Your achievement is difficult at the best of times, and let's face it, it wasn't made easy for you, but you did it. I know you will be stronger and more resilient than those that have walked before you. Well done, all of you. While you have worked with us, you have crossed paths with many lecturers and guests. You've met some of the most successful and influential people in the music industry. But perhaps most importantly, you have met each other. Some of the finest musicians and entrepreneurs to study at BIMM. Remember, as you leave us today, you will become part of the largest alumni network in the industry, your industry. So, be ambitious, be brave, stay passionate about what you believe in, and whatever your next steps, remember you will always be part of the BIMM family. Give yourselves a massive round of applause. Well done, class of 2021. Well, hold fire, hold fire. Time for a selfie, I think, yes? Rowetta, would you like to take to the middle of the stage? Nick, fresh off the back of the Brit Awards yesterday. Snapping lots of famous artists. There's another one for you. So, probably want to kind of remember your time here, so maybe put your hands in the air, stand up for us if you could, that would be amazing. Fantastic. Now go enjoy your evening and celebrate like you've never celebrated before. Thank you all very much. If my colleagues would like to be upstanding, and if you would like to continue. Thank you.